the real enablers of data analytics, which is really the integration part of things. And I'm going to piggyback a bit onto what Jason also mentioned a bit earlier, mostly because we are in an agreement that basically a lot of the things today the industry does relies on data. And it's not just a lot, it's everything. Data is at the heart of everything. And the best way to analyze the data, you need first to integrate it. And if you don't get this integration right, then you don't get anything right. There was a question about AI and so forth. And I want to start with this by saying that you can basically, and you'll see that we also use new technologies and those kind of technologies to enable us to go further with the data. But with anything in data world, garbage in, garbage out. So getting the data right and integrating it right at the first place is very important. But before starting on this specifically topic, I would like to just introduce a bit Kpler, because it's the first time we attend Switch. I thought giving you just a quick overview. So as was said in the introduction, we are the leading commodity data platform in the world. It's used by many, many people. We have 9 permanent offices around the world, going from Houston, New York, London, Paris, Dubai, Singapore, Tokyo, and so forth. We were created in 2014 by two great guys, François Cazor and Jean Meunier, who had the ambition to basically provide insight, and not just data, but truly insight to the traders and to the analysts around the world. Today, we are close to 120 employees, all various nationalities, going in all various skills and knowledge. And this is extremely important in our culture and in our way of progressing, which is really an international group. And as I said, we became over time an industry standard because we are providing those insights and not just those data, right? So here you see some of the quotes that basically people give us from Reuters, Bloomberg, S&P Global, The Economist, the Wall Street Journals, and some of our also partners like FGE and RGA Aspect that basically also take us as a standard and partner with us through this. But why actually did we come to be here? Well, because we actually looked at the market pain point. And earlier, my colleague, or confrère, as we say in French, was talking about, the analytics in the first stage that we are going to talk about today in Switch, and then tomorrow you are going to talk about risk management, so basically the middle office, and then on Wednesday you are going to talk about the trading, so all the back office part of things. And in 2012, our two founders basically had the discussions with few traders, and they really came to be that it's not so much a vessel that is important, but really what's inside and the commercial story behind this. So looking at those pain points and looking at the fact that the market was not able to understand those pre-deal analytics, how to capture all of this and all the operation part of things, that's how Kpler was originally created. And to do that, we needed to be able to cover multiple type of information coming from multiple type of sources. And that's also part of the first level of integration, is integrating the data, right, within the workflows. And then from these workflows, get the insight and then integrate the people around that. So the first step was to integrate the data. So what do we do actually? What does our users use to do those work? So they use basically mostly our data into a web application, right? With, as we said earlier, more than 25 commodities, over 5 different services that includes flows, understanding all the flows worldwide of those commodities, freight, basically understanding the freight market and the needs, And also inventories, which is extremely key because we want to see the full, basically the full picture of the market. And you can access it via web app, Excel add-in, API, and SDK, and so forth. It's used by more than 5,500 users worldwide daily on regular basis. And actually, it's almost 24/7. We have customers pulling our data 24/7 all week, all year. So it's very important to be always reliable and resilient in that sense. But who our users are, and that's very important because we need to be able to integrate at any levels with any of those users. And not all of them want to access the data the same way. And that's also extremely important. We have brokers and charterers who want to understand the available capacity and anticipate the utilization. Those people are mostly going to use web app, mobile information, or from the front end, or the Excel add-in, for example. We have physical traders and analysts who wants to monitor the competition and get the detailed trade infos. And for that, they are mostly going to use the front end, so the web app. And we need to be able to integrate easily into a user-friendly experience those information. And it's a large amount of information. We have also the quants, the data analysts. Internally, we sometimes call them the data nerds because we are some of them as well, who wants to uncover the market patterns and create pricing models. And for that, they need to be able to integrate their data through programmatical means, for example, APIs or Python SDK or R SDK and so forth. There is also the financial players who want to quickly highlight the macro trends and the market player behavior. And for them, they are going to use every means possible, right? Integrating very often into BI tools like Tableau, like Power BI, and so forth. And therefore, we need, as an industry, to be able to recognize that the level of integration is extremely key, so to enable data analytics, right? Frankly, data analytics is the means to an end. It doesn't provide the outcome of an insight or a decision, right? So at the start, you need to integrate the data, integrate the experience, integrate the insights, and therefore integrate the people. Now, every decision starts with data. As I said it before, data is at the heart of the system. So what kind of data do we actually use to derive those analysis and those information, those insights? Well, we use data from all over the place. We use data from port, public places, weather forecast, market trends, AS or radar data, satellite imagery, custom data, news, drones, and outages to be able to derive one single view of the commodity market. And just to give you an order of magnitude, right? We treat more than 150 reports a day automatically, right? 24/7 from more than 500 data sources around the world. We process more than 10 million data points per day, which basically equivalent at 120 data points per second, right? So as I speak, we are already processing a lot of data. All of this so to provide a real-time picture of our system and of our market, basically. So how do we do that, right? And this is where the first level of integration becomes. It's the integration of those data into a smart system, so to provide insight. Well, from the raw data that you see here on the left, up to the right, to the intelligence platform, right? We use different technology, data technologies. We could call many of them. You know, of course, we have data lakes. We use cloud application. It's all basically cloud-based. We use constraint programming, so basically use multiple type of solvers and what we call also ETLs, and various type of algorithm from natural language processing, so to process the reports, to machine learning, so to forecast the product, the destination, and the rest, to basically massage and transform those data. But those are just one step. If you only provide what the the machine basically spit out, right, you will most likely get also wrong data. As I said earlier, you know, garbage in, garbage out. If the data originally are not right, and are not curated properly, then you can risk to get the wrong data at the output. And this is where we spend a lot of time first curating our data sources. So we have a team of business developers who are basically making sure that we get only the best data sources. But then we have a team of market analysts who are basically validating also the output of the data and training the brain and the machine learning and the constraint programming of our engines, so to ensure that the output of those basically computation is the right one. And that's extremely important, because if you don't get it right, then the whole market insights that you are getting in the front end or even through the API is not right. And this is our key differentiator. We do not only rely on machines to basically do the work and get the data right. We rely on hard facts and very much insight from a market analyst who knows the trend and who understands the trend of the data, so to validate the quality. And the quality of our data set is the core of our métier. It's been validated across the world by, as I said, more than 5,500 users. And that's the key. It's validation of the data quality, so to ensure you have and our users have the best data insight. So that's at the level of basically getting the data right. So what kind of data are we getting actually? What coverage do we have? So here is a chart to represent basically all the different data across all commodities that basically we are already delivering. Everything in green have been delivered this year. We released 6 months ago our freight product that covers all the gas, liquid, and coal and iron ore in dry. We are going to work onto, and we are starting to work onto more dry input. We are also, of course, our core métier was originally the cargoes flows, but over time we've increased through the understanding of inventories for onshore with LNG and crude oil, and then the floating inventories. And in yellow, you'll see all the things that we've started to work on. Some are close to be released, some others will be released later in 2021. But our goal is to basically fill out this matrix, so to ensure that our users have all the data they need so to take a decision. And it's not just one side of the picture or one narrow view of the market. It's truly all the market as a whole. So that's extremely important for us. And integration is beyond the data. It's integration in the workflow, integration in decision-making, and being able to have the full picture is extremely key in that sense. Now, we need also to recognize how works our customers and our customer environment. And Jason said it quite right earlier when he was pitching, is that our customers have complex environment, and they want to be able to basically integrate data in their environment in their own terms, basically the way they want, And for that, you need to be able to access third-party BI tools, the customer data ecosystem that a lot of our large corporation, our large users basically are building. They're building their own data ecosystem. You want to be able to plug with their proprietary algos, but also mix with their proprietary data. So to be able to answer the front office, the middle office, the back office, all the different parts of the workflow. And this is crucial for us. So once we realize that our customer really want, and we are in this cycle of integration, so to enable data analytics, And this is where we basically decided to be more and more open. And from the Kpler data platform, what you could do, is of course integrate through add-ins, SDK, APIs directly into the proprietary algos or into the customer data ecosystem, but also using other means such as marketplaces to access the data, or live feeds, which are crucial in the long run. So to ensure that customers get the data as they are evolving and as they are changing. And this picture is extremely important. So to understand how to enable data analytics. Data analytics being a mean, so to a mean to the end being basically delivering insight and making decisions, right? And integration is the enabler of this, the whole workflow of insight generation. And that's extremely key, right? So in summary, our goal is to ensure that users can access, analyze, decide, and basically repeat the process as many times and as efficiently as possible, right? By accessing the data in any means possible, by deriving insight either through the information directly put in context of the workflows, or through their own workflows, their own algorithm, so to decide basically what they want to do and so forth, or through just a consolidation of the data into meaningful trends and so forth. And by the way, I'm going to finish up by mentioning that if you're interested to know more of how actually use best our data directly into your application and into your workflows, right? I would like to invite you to basically join us on Wednesday for our product webinar to look at how best integrate Kpler's data into your workflows. There is 2 sessions. There is one for Singapore and London time, and one for Houston in the afternoon. And if you want to register, please feel free to go into our LinkedIn page, and you'll have all the links to register to the webinar. So on this point, I'm going to end the presentation and take a few questions. So there is a raising hand from Jason, actually. Okay, if I can, I'm on the Q&A. There is no question for now. I think there is no question. I think it must be extremely crystal clear. So I'm quite glad.
If there are no questions, then yeah.
They can always contact us at Kpler. We have Hanshi, who is in our booth today and the rest of the week from Kpler. They can contact either myself directly or our head of communication, Arthur, who is also online. But otherwise, don't hesitate to reach out either on LinkedIn or else. And if you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate, and come to our webinar. You'll know more about the technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Clark. Yes, if you guys have questions, do head over to their booth to take a look, and also sign up for their webinar on their LinkedIn page. We'll take a short break before we commence the next session.